Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to The Way We See It. I'm your host, Blazeman. Last week, we had to cancel quite a few shows on the network. I was definitely not feeling well at all. Had COVID pretty bad. So, but we're back at it, and we're going to hope to give you guys a good show tonight. Mr. Donnie will not be with us tonight. He'll be with us next week. So, with that being said, welcome again. Tonight's topics are going to be Nord Stream pipeline. Did the U.S. have anything to do with that? Jeff Kuhner, Biden's betrayal. We'll touch a little bit base on that. COVID origin, China lab leak. We've been saying that on FFN Network for over 2.5 years that this linked from Wuhan, China. And I'm going to go back into the archives and get some of the radio stuff that we had from back then. And our final topic of the night is, are we on the cusp of World War III? China offers to mediate Russia-Ukraine war peace negotiations after President Vladimir Zelensky warns of world war. And with that being said, let me bring on the boys tonight and Mr. D and Mr. Jim. I'm glad that you guys are living it up there with those nice little pools in the background and all that stuff like that. When I can pretty much say here that I'm at the network station in Fall River, Massachusetts.
I don't have that background, buddy. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You know what I mean? It's on your computer somewhere. And we're also going to touch a little bit base on the Ohio, the train derailment. See what's going on. As far as that trail derailment goes, Buttigieg just finally decided to show up. I think the only reason why he showed up is because Trump went before he did. And there's some impeachments going around about taking Buttigieg off of what's he do? The traffic or something to that effect. I don't even know. You don't even see the guy. You don't hear from the guy or anything like that. He handles the transportation of the country, right?
He's the transportation, head of transportation.
Yes, sir.
He's I don't even know who he was. You know what I mean? Honestly, isn't he the fag that took pictures of his junk or something?
No, that's
no.
Who was that again?
Gay, but I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that he said it up.
I just want to let everybody know he was a fag. That's all.
Yeah.
He is though, isn't he? Or am I talking out of turn?
He's totally gay. Yep.
Is he?
Very gay. Yep. As gay as you can get. I don't think there's a line.
Do you wonder? Or do you think it was a situation when he was in high school or college or whether there was always a line of dudes underneath the bleachers for some odd reason with him?
Oh, my God.
What does that have to do with the train derailment?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because the word train was fucking yelled at him so much in his high school and college years, he's probably scared.
Okay.
So he's ignoring the situation?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's probably having flashbacks,
It's possible, I guess, yeah.
I don't know,
But
but listen, go ahead, buddy. You got it.
no,
I
I
want to.
just
I want to know what's on your mind about this.
yeah, it's
This North.
disgusting, dude.
This thing here.
You're talking about the derailment?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's disgusting, dude. I think this is like one of the biggest betrayals of our government. In like I don't know, as much as I can remember, these people here, they're sick. They're their oil. You can see like oil in their water. There's videos of people boiling water where the stuff that's coming out of it's like nasty on top. Fish are dead, birds are dead, and they're pretty much just telling people to go back to their homes and acting like nothing's happening. I don't see how anybody in this town or anybody can actually trust anything coming out of the government at this point. It's sick. And I mean, we're going to get into other things later, but I think one of the biggest slaps in the face, and you've probably heard the talking point somewhere else, but is the fact that Biden's given so much money in aid to Ukraine, and he's over there during times when he should be here and taking care of these people. The whole the whole situation to me is just, again, like I said, a slap in these people's face, and not to even have the the transportation secretary or head of transportation, whatever the hell his actual title is, come down and be a part of this is again another huge slap in the face. Right from the beginning, I don't know who it was that made the call to burn this, but and again, I'm not a scientist, but I don't understand why it wasn't blocked off and basically excavated out of there. Hey, big deal. Sorry, your train can't run. You got to find another way to get whatever's on that shipment that rides on those rails to its destination in another way. But it should have been excavated out of there and brought to the middle of the desert somewhere instead of being burnt. I just don't see how that's even a viable option. And what they did was just cause an enormous catastrophe. So not only is it in that area, now it's spreading everywhere. So,
Right. Well, as the picture says, it's not a creek. It's a pride water. It's pride water. Go ahead,
yeah.
D.
Is that something have to do with the train experience of Mr. Buttigieg in high school?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Listen,
Pride.
It's got his flag on it.
it's the right. It's the reason why I have you guys as a panel. You pick that shit up real quick, but I'll stop it.
No,
I'll stop it.
so my spin on this, man, is,
Yeah.
and Jim, I apologize. I had to get a cord for one of my
No problem.
chargers.
Apologize
Um,
before. Let's go. Move along.
no, bro, cause straight. And I may say something that Jim has said, but I look at this whole situation and I look if it was a different type of community, a more democratic community, because everybody knows here, all these folks here voted for Trump.
Mhm.
Now, if they were a colored community, how would the response be? And
Yes.
and it hurts for me to say that, but that's what we're living in, and you know, all these DEI hires. When you start living by DEI, people DIE die. You get
Nice.
it,
I like
buddy?
it. Yeah.
And it's true. All these incompetent fools are getting hired, not only in the government, but I'm pretty sure in corporate America as well. If they sling a Johnson in a different way, they're hired.
Mhm.
And it's pathetic, man. It's very pathetic.
It
And
Here's the
isn't.
here's the thing for me. You're saying that you think the response wouldn't even never happened right now if it was an all black neighborhood, right? That surrounding area was all black and stuff. Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because that. Uh, Give me a minute because I'm going to need a minute here. All right, look. First and foremost, to answer your question, I think that Trump would have been there anyways. And D, I apologize on live air or whatever, but you just look like a shadow And
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
need a
It's
yes,
either
bro.
more. It's either more light. Try something else.
Yeah, no, I
Anyways,
got it.
what was I gonna say? Okay, now, yeah, I think Trump would have went. I think Trump would have went. Okay, now getting to that. Oh, would the government respond? Okay, um, I guess I'm gonna direct this a little bit towards the black community. Okay, if your government didn't respond and that was your neighborhood, a black community, um, I mean, and there's a lot of black communities running around praising Trump. I mean, praising Biden. You know, they love him to death. Everything under the sun. D had a good point. I mean, what's the argument with the black community if they never been there? Because it was a black community. That's what
Sorry.
that's
Well,
what that's what D's trying to say. D's trying to say, look, do you think that we wouldn't even have responded at all if it was a black community
No,
area? No,
no,
that's not what you were saying.
no. I think during these times that there would have been a quicker
Response?
response. Yes, man. Yes. And you know something,
Huh.
power power to the black folks. They have many vocal leaders, man. And and
Yeah,
very
and
but it
many.
that's
should just
and
but it should
that's
just be like that anyways. Why do you gotta be black? A
because that's
Well, it's,
tragedy a tragedy is a tragedy. But that's
well,
what I'm trying to say. That's the problem with the country. You know, it ain't dudes like you, me, and Mr. D and Mr. Donnie, my wife, or anybody else, man. I could care less what color you are. It's the government that sees things that way. That's what I'm trying to say here.
yeah, you're 100% right. But I mean, that wasn't really the case
No, no,
here.
no.
So
It's going back and forth,
it's
bro.
still political, though. It's still a mess of political shit. I think it
The,
does have a lot to do with, um, the people that were there. But
the
it
whole
regardless,
thing
I
is.
mean,
Go ahead. I'm
this should
sorry.
be a giant like eye-opening thing for anybody. It doesn't matter where you stand or what politics you
Well,
are or what's
already two derailments already. There was another one, I believe, yesterday.
dude.
I mean,
They're
it was
all over the
propane.
place.
You know, it was propane,
but
but still
But
propane.
this
Bad.
particular thing, though, for me, it's not. It has nothing to do with the politics. It's about the people who live there, dude. They're talking about some of the chemicals that came out of this are going to cause like liver cancer, all
yes.
these other things down the
Right.
road,
I mean,
dude.
where can these
Everything
people go?
around them
Nowhere.
is dying, right? But you
Yep.
can't get out. What do? You can't move. Where are you going to move? You can't sell your house,
Jim,
right? So that's like right now, somebody like you. What's up?
no, real quick. No, just to reemphasize, all these cancers and stuff. I'll be the first one to say when I saw the 9/11 towers coming down and all that smoke, I didn't think that shit was going to generate all these cancers these folks got from the
Yeah,
9/11 buildings. And you heard a little bit, but now, man, people are dying, man. And
yeah,
that's
and this
that-
is
and that's what's going to happen in East Palestine.
yeah, it's no
Palestine.
different.
Right.
And you know what's
Palestine.
it's even worse. Well, it's not. I guess I can't say it's worse, but it's equally as bad. I mean, this shit is in their water. It's going to be in their wells. Like these people, literally, that's what when you live out in where they live. It's not like they're like just we'll just pipe into the city water here. They don't have that option. So everything that's in that ground around them is potentially screwed. And not only, like I said, by burning it, you made it spread even further. It's a bigger problem now.
Right. The controlled
So
explosion. Right.
yeah, if they, and again, I don't know who made that call or why it was done or why this was even remotely closer to being safer. I'd like to see the answers to those questions because I don't understand. I don't care how many gallons it was, or you know what I mean. You should have roped that area off and excavated. I don't care if you had to go down 300 feet by 300 feet. It just like we dig hole. We dig big
Because
holes.
because we talked
So
about this. We talked about this right here on this show. You know, when we said how does it work? In other words, the train derails. Takes about, I don't know, the governor knows about it. There's people that know about it, but they're not looking at it as like, okay, until to somebody says to somebody, well, what was on it? Okay? Then now it gets fed back to the governor or goes through local first, so the governor sees it later. And before you know it, 2 or 3 days has gone by before you finally get the paperwork that says what was on the train, right?
Yeah, but how do you
Okay.
who gets the okay to light a match and throw a match on it? That's my point.
That's just it. But I agree with you with that. But now we're getting to the significance and the dangers and everything. People are going to die from this.
Yeah,
Well,
Okay.
but here's the
Okay.
thing too. But the reason why I'm even again I'm pissed at the whole situation, but I'm more pissed because you have Biden sending money over to Ukraine. He's not
yes,
even
sir.
there. He literally is, and that's how I take it. You can say it, you can try to spin it, you can try to defend it any way you want. This dude is sending money to people outside of this country for them, for their humanitarian aid, for their military, for all of their shit. Yet there are people right here, right now, who can't even live in their own homes. At least I would not feel comfortable living there.
Oh,
And
fuck
and
FEMA
no.
most
should
of
be
the
there.
most of the scientists, most of the doctors, and the people that are around going, yeah, that's not safe. The EPA walked away, Buttigieg walked away, Biden walked away,
Right.
and these people
Right.
can't because their house is there. They live
Yeah,
there
they
and they
can,
work
because you
there.
know why? Because the government, like you said, Biden needs to get his head out of his ass. Well, let's just forget about that because the man can't even
But they're
doesn't know
not
what
going to
fucking
pay.
day it is.
It's not like you can walk
I
away, dude.
understand that, bro. Okay, I understand that. But what needs to happen, Jim, is FEMA needs to be in there. These people, I don't give a shit if they say it's in within a 3 mile radius or whatever the situation is. So within a 3 mile radius, you need to relocate all these fucking families. Okay?
It's going to be a lot more than
I
that.
don't listen. I understand that.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
is it going to happen? That's the point.
no, it's not going to happen. But that's what should happen. I mean,
Hmm.
do these people mean nothing?
Well, that's
You
the
know,
way I feel the government looks at
you
them
even
in this
had
administration and all of that. The only person who did anything really.
Aaron Brockovich was down there. Okay?
uh,
All right? Aaron Brockovich was down there. All right? That's how
Yeah.
bad this is. You know what I mean? All
The
right?
Biden couldn't be bothered, you
You know
know.
what I'm saying?
So
And
I don't know. I don't know how
she's
anybody
gonna
can look at this
sue
administration
she's
and
gonna
even
sue
defend
the
them anymore.
fucking pants off of these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
D.
Yeah, no, bro. I'm pulling up a
Emergency
map.
system, D, right now, bro. All right, do the logistics, right? Check it out. Those people need to be evacuated from that area.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't
agree.
think it's gonna.
D, you're running emergency management right now, okay? This is all
Right.
hypothetical, ladies and gentlemen. We're not saying we are these people, all right? Um, this comes across your desk, right? Tell the viewers, tell Jim how you would got it done. For real.
Wow, dude.
There's
I
nothing holding you back. There's no red tape. There's no nothing. What do you do?
evacuate people immediately.
Exactly.
Immediately.
Exactly.
Yep. But
Exactly.
my concern is pulling up from the map on the ground penetration. You know how far it is from the Ohio River.
Huh?
Yeah, yes, and I can't figure how far it's from there.
Yeah, I'm
But
not. Like I
but
said,
anyway, and I agree with y'all about you need to strip the land down 300 feet and all that. But I got a timeout, Jim. Why does that shit need to come to the desert in Texas?
I didn't necessarily
No,
mean
no,
Texas.
no, or
Yeah,
Nevada,
yeah.
or
Well,
you know what I
actually,
mean?
I think they're shipping it somewhere, but
Texas is
it's
one of the places. Yes.
again, there's plenty of places I think that it could go where there is no people. I mean, isn't like the middle of like the desert somewhere where there are no. I mean, this
Oh
stuff
my
at
God!
that
They
level.
listen. Let them go bury that where they bury all the toxic shit. Trust
Hey,
me, there's a place where they can bury it.
hey, Blaze. No, no, Blaze, and they can burn that too, away from the dirt, man.
Well, and
There
that's
is
what
a
I'm saying.
separation process, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
It
I
Oh,
mean,
they're charging the company what, $70,000 a day. Every day they don't move it, the company's being charged $70,000.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
think
again,
do you think that is this company that loaded to where $70,000 a day for a couple of months doesn't really hit the
yeah,
pocketbook?
it's still not the point. Just we're too. It doesn't matter at this point
Oh
if you get
boy,
rid of it or
Jimmy, I
not.
love you. I understand it's not the point. Nothing's gonna get done. We all know that. I think what we're talking about here is that this is how it should have been done, and we're just four regular guys, man. You know what I mean? And you know, the reason why I asked D that question is because you probably would have had the same answer. I would have had the same answer. The first thing they should have did was evacuate those people. There should be nobody living in that area for about 3 to 4 miles. Okay,
Yeah, I
nobody.
agree 100%.
Nobody. All right, so now what do we need to do as the people, which we always sit there and the government constantly convinces us every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days, or whatever, and to convince us that, oh, we'll help you. We're supposed to have a voice, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Wait a minute.
bullshit.
We're supposed to have a voice, right?
Yeah, well, you're not gonna. And if
I
there's
mean,
anything that's proved that, again, look at what they did with the COVID shit. They said, you know, you can't go to work, you can't do this, you can't do that. Everybody bent over. Nobody stood up. The ones who did got called conspiracy theorists, or they were, some
yeah,
kind of crazy
doctor,
person. All
doctor
these other
after
things.
doctor after
Yeah.
doctor after
Yeah.
doctor.
No,
We had
you can't
videos.
stand up or you
They're
get
like,
shunned. So again, I
well,
don't. It's the bigger point that I was trying to make that you keep telling me. I keep coming back to the same thing. Is it's the government? I don't trust them. Nobody trusts them anymore, and we can't change it. So what do? I don't have an answer for you. There's only one way we're going. I know for sure. I'm sorry. What the gentleman's name was the show on tomorrow? Mr. B. Is that it?
Yes.
yes, Mr. B.
All right. In parts of his show I was listening to, he talks about the forefathers and all how the Constitution and all these other things. Well, what do you think the people who wrote the Constitution would be thinking right now if they took a look around at where our country is right now? They'd be like, "This is why we armed you." That's what they'd be
Right,
saying. Yeah.
right.
So you want my answer? That's, I think, the only end to it because we can't change it. We tried, and you know what? Every time we do that, we lose anyway.
But
But it's
it
funny.
turns
Everybody
into
seems
this.
to have the same idea. And that's my point. At this point now, you look at if anybody can trust this administration or this government in general for their well-being after this incident alone, you're out of your mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey,
And
just wanna just just go up on the message board. There's a couple of messages up there. The first one from Mr. Parsons. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Jeff. They are turning their backs on the people. We agree. Biden
100%.
Biden admin will do anything to ignore the fact of what happened and do anything to help. But this is
But
the
that's
the
insane, though. I'm sorry, D. I'm gonna let you
no,
talk
no,
because
you
this is
good.
tough for
No,
me
you
too.
good.
You know, this is the part that's insane, though. You know what I mean? Oh, they're gonna ignore it. What do you mean? They're gonna ignore it? I mean,
They did. Dude, they didn't go down there for 20 days, 20 plus days.
Yes,
Like they
sir.
I mean,
literally just didn't even like it. Whatever. Not even
right,
on the
because
news for half of the time.
I know you're
It
gonna
was
say it's
blown.
crazy.
Like,
I know you're gonna say I'm crazy, ladies and gentlemen, but I think it literally, like they really, really didn't know what was in these chemicals for all of that time. You know, yeah, they knew some of the chemical was bad, right? And then you get somebody that really looks into it, like you did, Jim, and we had no paperwork, and we didn't even discuss it. We should kill ourselves for that. Um, and about what was actually in that and what that potential chemical could do harm, what it's capable of doing harm. And
yeah, but again, that's still the
there's
point.
still
Whoever decided to, they had to know. They had to know. I don't care what anybody says, dude. I can guarantee you 100% there was somebody who said that they probably didn't know. There's no way they didn't know. Dude, you
Yeah,
can't.
right.
When you go on Amazon and you order oil, like there's a special label that comes on it
right.
because it's not supposed to be transported. You think some company's just going to drop, 700,000 gallons of vinyl chloride on a train and send it through somewhere without letting somebody know? It's bullshit. There's no friggin' way,
No,
dude.
and that's what we also
You
talked
know,
about too. the paperwork. Who got it? You know what I mean? Who's processing it? The actual manifest of what was on the
Yeah.
train. Somebody got the manifest. All right, okay. Because I don't really think that they worry about what they got on these chemicals on these trains.
No,
I
well,
don't.
first of all, this, I mean, I don't know. Again, this is my point. If this isn't the first time they've shipped it, it must have come from this company before. There has to be some sort of protocols in place for what happens when this thing tips over. It's not like it's never going to happen. Maybe didn't happen in the past, but it's something that every company who
How much
transports this type of material should have some sort of a plan for. So again, I can't imagine that
how
burning
much
it
do you
was the.
how much do you think it is already seeped into the ground? And how far away are those train tracks to any kind of like pond or any kind of stream or anything? We
Oh,
got any
real,
Again,
info on that?
no,
real.
I don't know 100% of those answers. I can't tell you.
D
I do know that.
let D answer, bro.
Um, from the Ohio River, East Palestine is about 10 miles, according
10
to
miles.
the graph. Yep.
10
So
miles. And
really,
you're
it
you're
all
off camera.
depends on it all depends on how deep the streams that run underwater are. That's really what it boils down to. Because there's wells that are 50 feet deep, there's wells that are 20 feet deep, there's wells that are hundreds of feet deep. I don't know the geography of the land over there or whatever the hell that would be. Um, but again, would you say 10 miles deep?
Yes.
10 miles isn't that long. It can drop in, if it seeps through into that stream, it can be in the Ohio River. Matter of fact, I think they already said they found contaminants already. So it's not that far. And besides, again, now when you burn it and you make this stuff airborne, 10 miles is not far at all to travel in the air. I mean, it's not far at all.
Well, that's where we get that situation with the controlled burn. We feel that the controlled burn hurt more than anything for the simple fact is that it created more of the smoke slash dust
More
cloud.
hazardous chemicals in a
Yeah,
further spread out area. Well, that's my
right.
point. I wish we could have somebody come on and verify that, or tell me that I'm crazy, but I can't see why, no matter where it was, you couldn't excavate that. I mean,
Eh,
you know what the biggest thing I bet you it was, and I can almost guarantee it. It was probably came down to the fact that they couldn't run trains quick enough and get more product out. I bet you it's all back to money again,
oh,
because
that
if
line,
they,
Go
that
ahead, D.
line is up and running. That line is up and
Yeah,
yeah,
running
it's
already.
already
so
running. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
so
moved
that's
all
the
of that
point.
shit out of the way, and fires
So
out
all of these
and
people's lives mean
are in jeopardy.
absolutely
Nothing.
shit
Nothing.
in comparison to this particular company being able to run trains. So
Nothing. Again,
I
another thing we got to stay away. Go ahead, D. You got the floor.
no the burn. I think the burn was put in there because they were afraid. Because I did look up the correct SDS on that, and the reactivity was real high, and they were afraid of an explosion within them tanker cars, and they were worried about more scrap metal just flying everywhere versus them drilling holes on the side. And
yeah,
that's what I believe if I heard correctly. That's why they wanted to drill it out. I mean, drill the sides of the cars, have it dump in there, and then ignite it. But these are
yeah,
the smart people,
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, dude, I don't know either. I don't know. I wish I could we
Before
could
we go to
find some
break,
actual.
to add to that real quick, D. That's like the story goes where there is this car pinned between a pillow, atop of a piece of a bridge, and the bridge that the car is on. And for 8 9 hours, the engineers or whatever couldn't figure out how to get the car out from underneath there. And a mom's driving by with her daughter in the back seat, and somehow she explains to the daughter because traffic is real slow. She's like, "Mommy, what's the matter?" They say, "Well, they can't figure out how to get that car out from underneath there." And the little girl looked at her mommy and said, "Why don't they just let the air out of the tires?" You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I wish that
No.
same little girl would have drove by the train track. You know, like
Yeah.
D says, these are supposed to be the smart people. But ladies and gentlemen, stick around for more of the way we see it, and we'll have a little guest bounce in with us for a little while when we return, and we will be back in a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and Jerry from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out. Live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey everybody, how are you doing this fine evening? Thanks for sticking around for more of the way we see it. I'm your host Blazeman, and our panel consists of Mr. D, Mr. Jim, and our special guest for a little while tonight is Mr. B. How are you tonight,
Up,
Mr.
Mr.
B?
B.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
So how much of
Snowy day here.
it's say again?
Yeah, you kind of broke up there for a second. That's all right. Move on.
All right. I just said it was a cold, blustery, and snowy day here in Epping, New Hampshire. But
Yes,
we're
sir.
ready to take the fight to the whoever it is that are doing the oppression. So let's go on, gentlemen. What are we talking about tonight that you really need to get discussed?
Blaze?
Blaze?
There's a lot to talk about tonight, Mr. B. Mr. B, we was talking about the train derailment in Palestine, and I know you was paying attention to that. But if we'll give you a couple of minutes to add into that before we move on to our next topic, there, Mr. B.
Well, I remember reading something a number of long years ago, back in the Cold War era, when they recommended, after things settled out after a thermonuclear bomb detonation, that farmers should scrape off the top 4 inches of their soil and pile it up somewhere, and they'll be ready to roll. Go ahead and start growing crops again.
Hmm.
Bullshit! Big bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. These people are faced something with they don't have no idea what they're going to be dealing with. Why? Because some idiot took a Zippo and a pit full of chemicals that were tipped and threw a plume that over states, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to give Mr. B a little bit of
Idea how
time,
far this plume
Mr. B.
has actually.
Got
Sorry.
to give Mr. B. That's okay. Hold on, bud. Got to
No.
give Mr. B. Hold on, Mr. B. is just having a little bit of a lag section, ladies and gentlemen. So along with ourselves and the people that are watching the show right now, just have patience. So give him at least about 4 or 5 seconds in between comments.
Yeah, because he lives in the woods, don't he?
He sure does.
Deep in the woods.
Mr. B.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, took him through a Zippo on this fluid. It's going to contaminate just a mile or a few miles. No idea how far this is. We have no idea what the.
Okay, Mr. B.
Wait.
Mr. B. Mr. B. Why don't you come back? Check your internet connection. Come back in a few minutes, and we'll start this over. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, buddy.
Just have him come back in voice, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
but
We're live. We're live. But go ahead, D. You're up.
No, so we're all talking about, yes, this accident happened, this vinyl chloride, but how are we to transport it going further? You know what I mean? We've always transported it this way, and
Yeah.
I got a good reason why this shit happened, because we're all relaxed. Everybody is afraid to offend anyone. Just maybe like the person that was checking the SDSs or was missing one, and he rubbed his shoulder. Hey, that went away. You know what I mean? Nobody is held to standards anymore, man. Nobody is.
Well, here's a question, right? Now, just like excuse me. This isn't, and maybe this is one of the reasons why a lot of things that when we machine parts and make things for airplanes, if you are lucky enough to get those contracts, you have to have, it's not just an ISO certification, which is a standardized quality system implemented to try to prevent these types of things. But it's an entirely new level when there is a possibility of loss of life in anything you manufacture or any job that you do, like any people that do jet engine maintenance, the dudes that you see working at Southwest, all of those guys, the things that you do, it's not like you're just checking a box off. It's done in certain ways to make sure that there is no loss of life and that there's a track record for every single thing that happens, down to every single screw that's on that plane, 100%. So in this particular instance, I don't know how a company that can transport chemicals of this toxicity can get away with not having to maintain the same maintenance records and all of the stuff that an FAA style quality system would require, because there is a possibility of loss of life, and the amount of tragedy that can come from something like a train derailment carrying this stuff, there has to be more oversight on it. And I can't believe that there isn't. So this was caused by a bad axle bearing, which should have been something that's...
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Jim.
So there should be a high enough standard on the maintenance of these trains, these railways, these everything.
But it's not.
This should never have happened. And that's the point. So then they need to be held accountable. And this needs to be a huge change in organizations that run railways. Plain and simple. That's the first thing as far as like preventing it in the future. What we do about it right now, I have no idea. And again, I'm sure that's kind of where you were going, Mr. B, and talking about all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and jump back in there, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. We can sit around and Monday night quarterback all we want. Okay, we know now apparently this was caused supposedly by a bad wheel bearing. The powers that be in the Biden administration, I choke every time I think about that, have been seeing fit to try and blame former President Donald Trump for this incident, which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I caught that too. Yes, sir, I caught that too.
We saw that. In the meantime, their own people caused this mess. They added to this mess, and now they're doing everything they can to turn their back on it, poo-poo it, and just hope that it all goes away. In the meantime, they're shoveling billions of dollars more over to a war that has nothing to do with us.
Yep. Disgusting.
It is time. The time has come for us to sit back and take care of our own.
I beg to differ on that, and I'll wait until you're done, Jim, because I have a good response back on that. Go ahead, Jim.
Just go ahead. It's fresh in your mind. Go
exactly.
You
go
sure?
ahead, D.
So
D.
the way we have a lot of interest in Europe. Russia is a mad dog, man, foaming from the mouth, wanting to reoccupy its land that it lost during after the Cold War and stuff. And if we don't nip this in the butt now, this is just going to come and haunt us back 10, 20 years from now. And I'm being honest. And you know something? Looking at the panel right here, we all have roots from Europe. We all do.
You
know, and Europe is such a beautiful, green continent, man. There is not, and I looked this up on the map, there is not a speck of, the only part that's desert a little bit is in Spain. Everything else is pitch green. It's beautiful land, man.
I'll give you this. Yes, we should have stopped Hitler back in 1938. Yes. If we don't stop Putin now, he's going to be another Hitler. Yes. But damn it all, Europe's got their own money, for Christ's sake. We could have held back some of this money here and taken care of what needs to be taken care of here for our American people.
What I want to know is how
I agree.
Here, how much Ukraine has given you, Zelensky. How come I don't hear what France has given to?
You can look it up.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I don't mean to cut you off, Blaze, but before I lose my train of thought. Yeah, I had a hand up before you anyway, buddy.
Let's go.
Just sit down. All right. So what you said, all right, I understand that you need to stop them, but is this the way that we should go about it? Or is there a better way of doing this? That's my first question. On top of that, I want to touch on what Mr. B said about the money and you can't help your own people. I 100% agree. That's what I was opening up with earlier. It's sick to me that we're sending as much money over there that we have already and you're neglecting these people. With that being said, does anybody actually know what the total gross budget is for the Russian military? Anybody have a guess? Yeah, I looked it up today because I wanted to make sure I had the right number, and it's pretty sick. It's $13 billion. Okay. Does anybody know the roughly the amount we have sent in aid to Ukraine already?
No, man.
Roughly 76.8 billion. 76.8.
76.
Military aid is 46.6 billion. And humanitarian and financial aid is 26.4 billion for a total of 76.8 billion.
Is there any reason why you wonder why they're blowing up tanks with Molotov cocktails?
No, but again, it's almost going to be 8 times the amount that Russia spends on their military. We're spending to fund somebody else's war that isn't ours, technically, and we're neglecting our own people at home. I don't even know what else to say. I just, it's disgusting. So my point was, what is a better way to go about stopping Russia in its tracks rather than dumping billions and billions and billions of our money into another country. Is there a better way?
A long time ago, there was a fellow by the name of Goering, and he came out and he said it best: "He who controls the skies controls the war." We should have given the F-16s that they'd asked for months ago, a year ago.
I disagree.
All right, let Mr. B finish.
Go ahead.
Again, he who controls the skies controls the wars. The planes that we have outdo them. They are far more capable and they're far more sound than what the Russians are flying and the Russians are driving. This would have been over. It is no question in my mind why Putin puffed his chest up so much in saying, "Well, if you give them the F-16, it's going to treat this like it's a NATO attack and so forth. So I'm going to expand the war." He didn't want anything to do with us giving those planes over.
No, he didn't want us to give him anything, and that really surprised me when we're going to give him M1 tanks. M1 tanks, man, 74 tons of pure love and steel.
Lots of love, man.
Yeah.
So, and again, I mean, I don't want to misquote what Biden said. I think it was no, I'm only kidding.
No, it was
stupid.
It was.
That's how it started. No, just kidding.
Stupid. No, you're not.
I know. I had to throw it in there. But did he not say something to the effect of, he's got Ukraine's back at all costs? I think he repeated himself when he said it. So again, I mean, isn't that basically like you declare a war on Russia anyway? I mean, you're basically saying this is my best interest now. This is we've put too much into this now already to just walk away from it. We can't. We are vested now. Again, this guy starts a war. Trump didn't start any wars. The only president that really didn't. And again, I just bring him in on any spot I can because it goes up my ass a mile that this guy is my president. It's crazy that we're even in this position, and I don't know, like, where do we go from here? What's the end result? How is this going to end? And what's the benefit? Right?
And I want to add something on that as well. When China is getting involved with Russia, we all know this. But how can the United States slap down on them if they provide lethal aid to Russia? How can we, that Blinken, he's talking, oh, we're going to hammer the Chinese. You ain't going to do a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You ain't going to do a and this would be a great time for China to see if their weapons actually work.
Yeah.
Their weapons are not combat proven.
Yeah.
None of them are.
Nope.
None of them are. Here's some stats for you.
I disagree. He tested plenty of them on his own people in Tiananmen Square.
True.
Well, if you want to talk about chemicals, yes. We're talking about their planes. Anything that they have is not battle tested. None of it. You can have all the war games that you want, but that's it. But look, okay, since we're going with that, we'll just stay with that. It's World War III, man. Let me get to it. If you don't mind, everybody.
No, it's coming.
Yeah, well, it's looking more and more likely all the time. I just don't see.
Are we on the cusp of World War III, boys? Here we see. Let's see here. China offers to mandate Russia-Ukraine war peace negotiations after President Vladimir Zelensky warns of World War III. So China has offered to mandate peace negotiations.
Two totally different things, buddy.
Excuse me?
Mitigate.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Mitigate. China's foreign ministry, Wang, proposed the idea during a meeting with his Russian and Indian counterpart in Russia somewhere. So, look, There's a lot more to this. I'm sure D, you could pop it up. Jim probably have it. Mr. B, we already taught you about the Dropbox. If you still have it, you could look at the notes. Um, what if China does get involved with all of this?
India will be our most important ally.
So why is India there talking with Russia and the Chinese?
Uh,
because they don't want to be involved with it.
exactly.
Because
Exactly.
if you were next door to something like that, you'd be like, "Hey, mind if I join the conversation?"
And
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
India troops are fighting with the Chinese troops on some border territory up there in the Himalaya mountains and stuff, and they're still fighting as we speak now. And all it is for a stupid ass borderline.
D, you're like
Same as
totally out of
everyone.
camera.
I'm sorry, I was leaning.
Just move your camera. Now. There you go. Now you can lean.
Boom.
Go ahead.
Let me put this in front of you. Is there a possibility that India could turn out being the 21st century's Sir Neville Chamberlain?
Yeah, exactly.
The who? I'm sorry.
Sir Neville Chamberlain, the fellow who went over to Germany in late of early of '39 and got a document saying that they weren't going to get into war and so forth, and came back saying that they had this wonderful talks with Nazi Germany and so forth, and they signed an agreement saying that there's not going to be any war, no one's going to attack, and everybody's going to be happy, and they're going to have flowers and bunny fights and parades and whatever
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Hitler
that.
was like, Hitler was like, all right, leave the room. We're gonna do whatever we want, anyways. You know what I mean? But look, they've already Russia's got the airspace closed down because of a drone incident. Okay, Biden can't handle this situation, and and they know this. Do you? If Trump was president right now, you think these guys are fucking around like this?
I don't
No,
even think we'd be in this position, though.
no.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It didn't look like it.
Come
We
on,
didn't seem to be
I
having
just
these
want to be
problems.
honest for once on this show, which we try to 99% of the time. And I know some of us were conservative and all of that stuff like that, but some of us in this lobby didn't care for a lot of stuff that Trump did, and a lot of us are in agreement with that. But that being said, they don't do this if Trump was president. They don't do this. I want to know why. Mr. B, go.
President Trump knows a lot more than what most people are telling. President Trump knows a lot more than what our government knows. Because he's a businessman and he knows where to get the information and he knows who to talk with and who to deal with. President Trump, if Putin had gone over the line into Ukraine and Trump were president, it would have been a very, very short invasion. And they would have recalled their troops.
Mr. D.
I agree with that, but also I want to make a point that you said President Biden can't handle it, and I agree because he is compromised not only from Ukraine with his little slimy shit he did over there with his son, but in China as well, man. So he's like in a rock and a hard place, man. Really, and
Right, with no signs of somebody showing up with a shovel.
yeah, but yeah.
Right, Mr. Jim.
Yeah, I agree with everybody, man. I don't even know where you go, and I guess he put us in a corner like this, and at this point, I don't even. There is no way out. There's no good way out of this. It's not going to stop, right? I mean, they're not just going to be like, all right, we give up, forget it. Keep your land.
Okay.
It's not going to end like that. So,
Right.
And we've already said we're in it till the end back in Ukraine. So, I don't know.
Zelensky is Zelensky holding documents over President Biden's head to get some of this aid? Jim.
I don't know, dude. I'd love to say yes and make it that easy, but I mean, what could he possibly hold? I mean, Do you think any? I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know. That would be a
Mr.
real.
D.
That's a lot of shit to do to an entire couple of countries over a couple of documents. You know.
My big concern with all this money going over there and with Ukraine's reputation as being corrupt, we definitely need to send a lot of oversight over there to see where these millions and billions of dollars is going. Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, she went over there. And I hope that was a good sign to say, hey, we're giving all this money, but we need receipts. Where's this money going? And this is a lot of money to a fractured government during wartime. Shit, they were fractured before the war. Could you imagine what they are now? It's chaos. It's complete chaos. And
Right.
everybody's grabbing for the money.
Right. Jim, I'm gonna give
I
this
just
to
want to
Mr.
pop
B.
in.
Go ahead. You got quick? Go.
Yeah, it is quick. I didn't have a lot of train of thought there. It kind of lost me. But the reason why I don't think so is because this dude's only going to make it another 4 years, even if he gets reelected. I mean, he ain't got much left, dude. So what could they possibly be? They know there's going to be another president, and so I don't think it would be for. You know what I'm saying? There's no real. The guy's done in 4 years. So whatever
Mr.
it
B,
is,
3
they're
minutes.
going to lose in the end.
Ladies
Mr. B,
and
3
gentlemen,
minutes.
asked and answered. Are they holding papers over Biden's head? You get the win today, sir. Absolutely. All right, they're going to be holding on papers about Biden's kid, about Biden, about all the gas deals and the shady backroom deals having to do with all of the corporations and the money laundering that's going on. Don't tell me it's not happening. You'd have to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Helen Keller
Zelensky,
got to know that
at
it's
first,
going on. I'm
listen,
sorry?
not that at first, you know what I mean? It's we're sending Zelensky, Ukraine some money here and there, a little bit of aid. Now it's getting crazy. Number one, just the fact alone we're sending them Abrams is telling everybody that we are now engaged in this war. You don't just send Abrams over. And when you said, Mr. B, they should have gave him the F-16s, no way. You can't do that. You can't do that, man.
So here's my thing. It sounds great in theory, but all right, you're going to start a World War III over what? What could they possibly have? That's what I want to know. And if they had something over your head that bad, why would you ever run for president?
Well,
why would you put yourself in that position to be?
I'm saying for now.
Buried
you know what I mean?
Even for now,
you fudge pop in front of them.
Yeah, but what could it possibly be? How bad could it possibly be?
Everything that Mr. B just said, that I just said, all the money laundering he was involved with. I mean, we're talking jail time here, but you can't arrest
dude, we already know. We already know it. We're not going to do anything. The dude's not going to get prosecuted for shit.
Yeah, but now we got to add more to it now, bro.
Yeah, no way, dude. It doesn't matter.
You got to add more to it now. I mean, come on.
When an
if Zelensky's sitting there and going like this, look, see this? I'm just asking, instead of the 25 billion you want to send, I want 30 billion. Or somehow, some way, this gets leaked out.
I'm not saying Biden's not a scumbag, dude.
Zelensky's not going to say, hey, look, I got this paperwork on. This is why we're getting money. No, it's going to get leaked.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Jim, Blaze does have a point, and I think I'm getting to it and stuff. Where have we ever given this much money to a country that's been fighting our enemy? We've given other countries money, but not in this amount.
But then
we didn't even give the Kurds that much money, man. Yeah, we gave them the proper weapons to shoot down helicopters and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? When Russia was in Afghanistan,
but it's not Biden alone. That's the point. It's not Biden alone that just goes, "Here's your money." There's people that the whole government is behind.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't just do what he's doing.
This is opening up something.
So you're telling me that this guy Zelensky's got
I'm not telling you anything. What I said before,
I'm asking
the conversation is
it's on you.
It's pretty hypothetical, and it's a good theory. You know what
All
I mean?
right,
You
and
use
I'm
the
asking
word
you, what could
fucking
it be?
conspiracy theory, anyway. Everything we just told you, money laundering, all the dirt they got on his kid, all the money that got filtered through his kid, anybody else in the government that was involved with helping us going. This is a huge story. Yes, you could tell somebody, I'll give instead of 25 billion, I want 30 billion. You
You're
know what I
missing
mean?
my point. Say he has all that shit.
Okay,
He still
and
has to have Congress sign off 73 billion or
it's
78 billion
easy.
dollars.
What's happening? It's easy as that. They're giving them money to give to Ukraine. So that's it. You're just adding some more money.
I
Okay.
would
Look,
like to know, how does the money hit Ukraine when it leaves the U.S. Treasury?
right. What bank is
Where
it in?
Yeah, where does it go from there? And then
You
how
know,
is it
Good luck
distributed there?
finding that out.
is
Yeah,
is
exactly. You
is
know,
Ukraine calling a company here in the United States or whatever to make them bombing shells or whatever the deal? Where's this money being spent on? Is it coming back here into the United States to build weaponry for Ukraine? I wouldn't have a problem with that. That's
I
like a
got a
ring
great
around the
question to
roses.
ask.
Mr. B, go real quick. You got 30 seconds. We got to take a break. Go ahead.
Okay. Has anybody considered who's getting paid off for doing these transfers where they're getting their commissions?
Of
Who's
course, there's
getting that?
people, they're making money, Mr. B. You know they are. I think we all know they are. And
And the
we'll get back.
kickbacks that go with it.
uh,
Exactly. And we'll get back to a little bit more of this, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back with more of the way we see it. And we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Ladies and Jerry from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and the different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out. Live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for more of The Way We See It. I am your host, Blazeman, and we will bring the boys back in with my boy, Mr. B, Mr. Jim, sorry, Mr. D and Mr. Jim, and guest tonight is Mr. B. Um, D, you have been following tonight, and I would like for you to open up this next segment, bro. Anything that's on your mind or anything that's up in the box.
Um, yes, I do want to open up this one,
There you go.
and it's kind of disturbing. I know you, God, man, transgender operations, man. Where
All
the
right,
hell,
here we
you
going.
know?
Here we go.
Now, if I say anything about transgender operations, one, I'm homophobic, I'm transphobic, I'm all these phobias, man. I have no phobias. I'm afraid of no man. But my point is, why are we drilling on these kids at such a young age?
Uh,
Why are we drilling on them just period?
period.
You're born with a dick, you die with a dick. You die, you're born with a V, you die with the V. And what's crazy is that these doctors are going through this. But also a good thing for them is they'll have a doctor, I mean, a patient from the age of 10 to 80 dealing with big pharma medications and always doing follow ups, checking out your new vagina. Um, I don't understand this, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, maybe you guys can make sense to me. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe people should have the choice to have an added dick to me or a V, whatever. I just I don't see this. And lesbian, gay, fine, fine. You're not messing with your tools. Your mind is a little warped, a little, but maybe my mind's warped. I take that back. And I'm good with that. But when you start drilling parts out of your body, you're acting like a god, man. And I'm not saying Allah or the God I believe in. It's like a Zeus or something out of Greek mythology, and these teachers that are playing with these kids' minds, they're the ones that are celibate, no kids, liberals, and they just want to destroy kids. They
All
just
right.
want to destroy kids. And these kids are our kids. Go ahead, Jim. You came up with the first H. Maybe
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, you can believe whatever you want, just like everybody else. I think that it's a little deeper than that. I don't think it's that easily. That's a pretty simple way to look at it, I guess, for me. When we're talking about kids, yeah, I don't think any child should ever be able to have any operation, and I don't even think it should be legal to even have that as an option for somebody to sign off on until you're of your own legal adulthood age. And I also think there should be psychology involved with that, actual appointments, and because some people do just feel that way, dude. I know people personally who are transgender, and these people, they may be gay, they may not. I don't even know how that whole works when you switch things over. I have no idea. I do know that these people aren't crazy and truly feel that way in their own head. I can't explain it. I can't even begin to understand it. But really, I don't care if you're over 18 and you pay for an operation and you want to take your arm off, dude. I don't care if you want to sew a dick to your forehead. That's your body. People get tattoos. You put holes in your ears. It's your body, dude. As long as it doesn't infringe me, my rights, or cost me anything, I don't give a fuck what you do with yourself, because you got to look in the mirror every day and you got to be right with yourself.
So you're saying it's an illness?
I believe it is. Yeah. I mean, to a certain
At,
degree,
at,
not
at,
like you know what I'm saying. It's not. I don't know. It's something obviously wired a little differently when you can
these
see something and feel something different.
Uh,
That's
I'm
not
I'm
necessarily,
sorry. I'm
but
sorry, Mr. B. I
Mr.
need to
B,
add something.
go
I
ahead.
need to add
Go
something
ahead,
real
D.
quick, Mr. B. Doctors are giving these kids puberty blockers at the age of 10. puberty blockers. Let them go through puberty on their own, and if they have a decision to make on their sex, let it be determined then at a later age. We're mutilating bodies, man. We're
Puberty
just
blockers can be reversed by stopping to take a pill.
Mr. B.
Thank you, gentlemen. Many of you all know that I am a man of good faith. I'm right here.
Yes, sir.
God knows what he made. If you're a male when you're born, a female when you're born, he knows what you are. We have the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where it's a person known only to God. So if you go ahead and you have some kind of surgery done that does something to you, and I'm of the mind that there has to be some form of abnormality. Abnormality. I'm not saying and making any judgments, but it is not normal for a male person or a female person to turn around, wake up one morning and say, you know what, I want to be the opposite sex. No, something has to be different. And then that is what I'm saying is an abnormality. There must be some form of abnormality to cause a person to go and do this.
At what age?
But no matter what you do, God knows who you are, what he created, and what you really are like. That having been said, I don't know what that abnormality is. Perhaps there are a number of them. But this is something that's far beyond me.
Mr. D.
And as a man,
It seems like we're a little bit afraid of this conversation, huh? I don't know. But
no,
go ahead,
no,
Mr. D.
no. I'd like to respond to one comment. Well, I'm not going to respond to it. I'll just elaborate on it more. Nicholas Parsons, hell of a lot deeper than that. And then he says their freedom to do as they please, and I agree. It's funny. I've seen transgenders make actual dudes look like pussies. That's an opinion. So
Right.
I want to get back to you, Mr. B, and I think that's the problem because I try to be a man of faith and all and of good standing and all that, but that's the problem. We're getting rid of God in everything we can. I don't know what this country wants to idolize anymore. I know everybody, money is their top one, but not who do they idolize? Who are their idols? We're not doing good. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. We are not doing good as a society. We're all going to shit.
Not these kids today. It's like,
but it ain't these kids' fault, man. These kids are being introduced to these fucking drag queens that are out there, and they get talked to, and they get blocked away from the parents. Don't know what's going in some of these schools. I think I don't know what would have happened if I would have seen a drag queen show at the age of 8. I don't know what would have became of me. And that's why I'm saying, keep this shit away. These kids don't need to know, male. I mean, they need to know their sex, but they don't need to know their drives, what gets them going. It's just a fallacy, a fantasy of theirs. That's all I got, man.
Mr. B.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, as I said before, I believe that there is some form of abnormality. But again, one of the things that's egging this stuff on, and I'm not afraid of this, I'm not afraid of taking this on at all, is these damn liberal mamby-pambies in the school system that are brainwashing the children into thinking that the latest one of the ones that I heard, and I really can't stand it for a number of reasons, is that, oh, you're not a male, you're a boy that can give birth. What kind of bullshit is that? One of these people teaching our children when we should be teaching them. Yes. They should be teaching the 3 R's, and we should be teaching other things at home when it is appropriate, when the children have reached appropriate ages. Not showing drag queens to kindergartners. I'm sorry, that is just something that is just, pardon my language, fucking stupid.
Oh, damn.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jim.
Touche.
While I absolutely agree with what you just said, it is
Thank you.
stupid. I'm also going to say that as a man, I never once, not even remotely like a flashing, fleeting, passing thought, ever felt once like I might be a girl. Okay. There was nothing you could say or do or show me or try to brainwash me into. There was never a nanosecond, even like a little micro flash of anything that I would ever look at myself and go, I think I'm a girl. So I don't think that these people who have this, we're going to use the word abnormality, are influenced by anything that's going to make that decision for them. Unless you guys have had thoughts of maybe being a girl or putting on girls' clothes or makeup or cutting your dicks off. Again, you've seen the same shit these people have. Maybe not at that young age, but you've seen movies your whole life. You've seen a lot of things when you were younger. You don't think you're fucking a Care Bear just because you watch Care Bears, right? You don't think you're something just because you watch it. So I don't believe that. I still believe it is an actual abnormality or something of that nature that this person truly believes they are what they think they are. I can't imagine somebody going, I'm cutting my dick off because I just saw a couple of drag queens kiss in
Yeah,
kindergarten.
but if you stood there at age 8 or whatever and like constantly told your parents, or your parents would see you talking to somebody, and back in my time it would be you would like had a secret friend or some fucking stupid shit like that. And then it gets to the point where the child is still talking to no one or whatever, and then you look at the child or whatever, take it to a doctor, and then you find out the child has schizophrenia. You know what I mean? Hears voices in its head and all that shit like that. Really thinks that there's a person there, all that shit. That's a sickness. That's an illness, right?
You know,
So wouldn't you say that, someone just sitting there, thinking that they're a girl, okay, a boy that thinks he's a girl, all right, and would the parent look at the child and say, this is an illness? This child shouldn't be feeling this way at all. Now,
Uh,
I think this all gets again wrapped around into technology, and kids don't fucking go outside anymore. Because when I was a kid, there was no technology and nothing. So yes,
you
Christmas
made your
time,
own.
everything you made your own. Do you know where I'm coming from, man? We did
Yes, sir.
everything. Fucking built
Yeah.
go karts, all that stuff. We were outside. That's male through your whole body, like you said, Jim. You know what I mean? Never once did I ever think that I wanted to wear this fucking dress, not for a nanosecond. Neither did we. Well, because we were
and
outside. Listen, because we were outside doing shit. Okay? Today's child in the past 15 years, okay, has been able to stay home with video games, with the new technology as it rise, cell phones, the whole fucking nine yard. You don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So now you got cell phones, TikToks, or whatever, where for some reason Johnny is in that state of mind and says, I want to put a wig on and a dress and makeup on live camera. Kids see it, everybody sees it. Then it becomes a fad at some point. Just like in high school, you know what I mean? The latest fucking new jacket that was out. It was a fad. Everybody had to have one.
I
That's
I'd
all
like
I'm
to
saying. Just
no,
think
but
about that.
no, and yeah, no, and I just want to add, Jim, you never had thoughts and stuff because you weren't flooded like these kids are flooded today
That's
with,
what I just fucking said, right?
I
Yeah. Yeah.
you didn't say it that way. You
No,
just
no,
said
no. I
kid, we stood
understand.
outside a lot. And Nick Parsons, he's got another one. I get it, and I completely agree with you guys are saying, but as I said, it really goes deeper. His next comment, I know the comments make things sound different than what it's intended for. And I totally agree with Mr. Parsons, but he's got a show with you, don't he, Blaze?
Yes, he does. He got a great
And
show on
uh,
FFN Network.
yeah,
Unboxed
yes,
Thoughts with Nick
yep.
Parsons on
Uh,
Monday
uh,
night, 7 to 8.
on them unboxed thoughts, I think it would be a great topic for him to talk about the transgender issues here in this country.
Well, I think after
I,
my show tonight, I think you might even roll with that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because
Absolutely.
So,
no, he talks about this really goes deeper, and he makes mention it out of his four comments. He makes it twice, and I think he would do great on this, and I would look forward to hearing his show. I
Me as
really
yeah,
would.
well. Yeah.
I
yeah,
really
there you
would.
go. I'll
Even
talk
I
to
mean,
him
if you
about
But
it.
could, you
but
could.
but get he's probably listening, Blaze.
Of course he
He's
is.
he's a sharp dude. But the point I just want to make, if I was 10 years old now, with all the shit I'm seeing as an adult on TV, I maybe want to bark up that little skirt and see what I look like in a sundress. Just saying. Just
What are you
saying.
gonna do? What
I don't know.
you turning flipper?
No,
But
man. It's
why would
just
Huh?
that differ from you now? I don't. That's what I don't understand.
because you're emotional. you,
But I
you
don't believe in
you
Santa
you
Claus, dude.
no, but that's not.
Right?
Yeah,
I used to
because you.
love that guy. Idolized him. He was awesome.
Right,
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
the
right.
bro.
whole
But
world, the whole world
this
shoved
is
it in my face for a couple of
Right.
months every year.
Yeah, but
yes.
have you been? I know you guys at some point, at some time, come across these new videos that have been out. You know what I mean about the Grinch literally scaring the living hell out of fucking kids. Like they're making the Grinch to be like devilish. You know what I mean? So now, how far does that go before all of a sudden, the Grinch cartoon that comes on TV, which is loved by Jesus millions, now all of a sudden the Grinch is going to be like this murderer. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you guys seen some of these videos. I'm pretty sure you have. Where
I don't
the
know where we're
parent,
going with the conversation at this point. We went from talking about transgender to the
yeah,
Grinch.
well, yeah, because we're talking about the same stuff. Yes, it feels like it's going left field, but
I
I don't
just,
believe we are. But go
no
ahead,
matter what, it just,
Gentlemen,
my point is
let
this.
me,
Again, it's the same thing. You
Mr.
don't
B, you
try
got it
being,
next.
you know, it's usually a pretty clear cut thing for most people. You know whether you're gay or not. If you don't and you try it, you're going to figure it out really quick. Um, so it still is to me much deeper than what me, you, or anybody here can understand. And again, at the end, it doesn't affect my life. So why does it matter? As long as
It
you're not harming a
Well,
child.
it's not right. Well, maybe in your situation, it's not affecting you, and that's great. But it
But
affects.
how does it
If it,
affect you? I
how
guess
does
that's my
not me?
yeah.
It does. It don't affect me anymore. But if my sons were the age of kids that they are now today, and some of the stuff that wants to be taught in school and shit like that, you know what I mean? I'm a firm believer. No matter what, until my son gets at an age to where I don't think he's bananas. Christmas time comes, he's getting a fucking truck. He's getting a bike. He's getting this. He's doing that because he's a boy. When I was young, a girl that wanted to do everything that boys did was called a tomboy.
yep.
She was a
Yeah.
tomboy. Okay? But when you would see her at church or whatever and stuff like that, you'd be like, oh my God, Charlie, you're pretty cute. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But then she's back at the park with all the guys, you know what I mean, with a baseball cap on and shit and playing baseball and goofing and doing all of that. Was a tomboy.
Snots
How,
running down her nose.
whatever. How the fuck did it get to the point where you was a tomboy to now, hey, you really, if you cut your hair and you do this, you could really be a boy.
Yeah, you're
because
right. Blake.
one too
You're
many
right.
spinsters finally decided they had enough and they wanted to take and force their face into everything. That's the
Wow.
problem.
We
Right?
got a
When
good
you and
connection
I
coming
and
out
these
of New
gentlemen
Hampshire.
here were all children, we were going around in high school. I did a comedy benefit. I did something, a show dressed up as Julia Child. I had my aunt's heels, my mother's dress, and her wig. May she rest in peace. And I did a wonderful, funny thing. I didn't go home with a moil and a chainsaw lopping off my parts. No, I just did a show and made people laugh, and that was the end of it.
Right. Now
I
people
don't
want
think
to
I don't think you
identify
need a
as it,
chainsaw to cut your shit off, man.
you know?
I
No.
love you
Hey,
too.
All right,
hey,
all right,
Mr. B,
all right,
we got a good
all right.
connection.
We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. Stick around, everybody, for more of the way we see it. I'm having fun tonight, boys.
Hey, this is Jerry from the Neutral Corner on FFN Media. Every Thursday night, 7 to 8, catch my show live. We are talking with legends, we're talking with professionals, we're talking with amateurs, we're also talking about gyms and the different programs they have. You can catch us live on FFN Media, 7 to 8 p.m. Not only can you catch us live, you can actually ask questions in the comments and interact with our guests. Hope to see you then.
Hey guys, Nick Parsons here. Come check my show Unbox Thoughts out live every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. on the FFN Radio Network page.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for the last half hour of The Way We See It with yours truly, Mr. Blaze Man, and my boy, Mr. D, Mr. Jim, and our guest tonight, Mr. B, where you can see tomorrow night, Mr. B show will be on air on the FFN network, and that is Politicking with Miss the B tomorrow from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the FFN Radio Network, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and everything else we're live on. Tonight, I would like to go with end tonight's segment here with the COVID origin China, the lab leak, and let's just take a little listen right here.
Couple of minutes here. The head of the FBI, in a brand new interview, is saying the agency thinks COVID may have originated, right, may have started with a lab leak in Wuhan, China. This is in an interview on Fox News. We want to play you some of the back and forth here. Watch.
As you note, Brett, the FBI has for quite some time now assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab incident in Wuhan. I should add that our work related to this continues. I will just make the observation that the Chinese government, seems to me, has been doing its best to try to thwart and obfuscate the work here, the work that we're doing, the work that our U.S. government and close foreign partners are doing.
Ken Delanian is joining us now with that interview with Chris Wray over on Fox. So interesting here because this is really the first.
Well.
All right, Jimmy, you want to start this off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, geez, I think we were talking about this 2 years ago when we were looking at all the other dots were connected between Fauci and him funding labs originally in the United States for gain of function research and all this other crazy shit they were doing with viruses until somebody was smart enough to go, don't do that. And that's enough of that, cut him off. And then him, and I believe his name was Francis Collins or something Collins. Again, this is going back 2 years, so not as fresh in my mind. But they ended up funding a lab over in Wuhan to continue research on gain of function. And it was pretty clear back then. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, Rand Paul grilled him up and down about it on the floor of the Senate, and it was all over the place then, and it kept getting blown off again by Fauci himself, obviously for obvious reasons. And again, anybody who stood up and said this is where it came from, it was probably this. You were a conspiracy theorist. You were a right-wing nut. People, I'm sure, lost their jobs over some of this crap. Not only obviously they lost jobs because of vaccine mandates and everything else that was going on at the time, but I meant in general, just for speaking out and speaking up against people. They were banned off Facebook. It was just unbelievable the amount of backlash you would get just for coming out with a what looked to be blatantly obvious. And here we are 2 years later, and lo and behold, we have actual credible, scientific research to show that it's almost implausible that it didn't come out of a lab leak. When they tried to make us think that somebody ate a bat at a wet market and caused this to happen. So
what was the other thing, Jim? A pangolin? What was the other?
Yeah, I forgot what the hell it was, but yeah.
South Park will tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I forgot what it was called, but
Pangolin.
yeah. And this guy sat back and denied. He was, again, what's going to be the repercussions here? What is the what happens from here? I mean, China knew about this and they had a choice to make, right? They knew what happened. They had a choice to make, which was either we contain this in here, close our borders, don't let anybody in and out of this country, and let everybody know ahead of time what may happen, or we just shut our mouth and let people roam about until it's too late. I mean, look at how many millions of people died because of this.
I think it was 8 million.
Yeah, that's
Can I
unbelievable.
interject something here?
Of course.
Go for it.
Gentlemen, are we forgetting what's gone on? And we know, we've heard this. It's not just fairy tales. We know what happened over in China. People being welded into their homes. The doors welded shut so they couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't get food, couldn't get out, couldn't get help, anything. All of these people, God knows how many are dead there.
You're not getting the truth.
How many people are dead, how far it went, we will never know. And as far as our own government and our own news agencies, when are these people going to be held to account for turning around and saying, knowing what the truth was, and turning around and saying, no, it's all just a conspiracy theory. Thank you very much. By the way, here, look at this flower.
Yeah,
Blaze.
Yeah.
No, Mr. B, I'd like to add one thing, but Mr. B, Jim, myself, and Blaze, we talked about this, and it'd be great if you could pull up them archives one day during our show to where we discussed.
Listen, go ahead, bro. I'll let you finish because I have something to add here real quick. So, FFN Network, we loaded up back our website, okay? And all of those shows are gonna go up on the website. All our old shows, the Chris B and Heather P show, the Blaze Man and Miss Tammy show. All when we started doing radio, everything from back then, all the audio is going to get loaded up from all of those shows. Mr. D calling in to the shows and talking. And we talked about this thing. We knew back then that it got leaked from that place in Wuhan. Okay, I even made cartoon sketches about it. You know what I mean? That you can catch up on YouTube. You know, we knew that here on FFN. FFN was created because of the COVID, because of COVID. You know,
Hey,
so
Blaze.
Well,
Go
there's
ahead.
something
I'm
good came
sorry.
out of it, I guess.
yeah, right. Thanks, I appreciate that. Go ahead, D.
No, and just to piggyback off what Mr. B was saying about the government, and and what's crazy is that we funded this project.
Yeah.
American dollars funded that
Mm-hmm.
gain of function research up there in China, and
Yeah,
Fauci's got his paws,
name all
prints,
over it.
everything all over it, and he'll probably be canonized here in a couple of years as a saint through
Yeah.
the American people, the American public.
I'd
That
like
is.
to fire him
Right.
through a cannon, but not canonize him.
No, well, no.
So, ladies and gentlemen, well, we're going to give you a little bit of a treat here, real quick, and ask Mr. B on some of the topics he's going to be talking about on his tomorrow night show here on FFN Network.
Tomorrow night show. Well, we're gonna hopefully, as long as things continue the way they are, I'm gonna have two panelists. Yeah, two. Here we go. Two panelists.
Ah, two guests. You're hearing it
And I'm
here
not
first,
even
ladies and
drinking
gentlemen.
anything yet. Okay,
You're hearing
we're
it
going to be
here
talking
first.
about the woke culture. What is it about the woke
Yes.
culture that offends you? Those who are offended about this, what offends you about what they're doing? Those sorts of things. Is it all just, I don't know. The government lies, the COVID-19 government lies, the covers up, all the phony science things and this and that, all that miscast with the crazy mandates. And will Fauci
So
be held accountable?
you're gonna have all of that tomorrow with Mr. B. Mr. B's gonna have himself a couple of guests, get some panel. You know, he might even have a panel show. Right?
There's
Sounds
one
like
other
it,
thing
right?
I'm going to broach on, if I could.
Sure.
Fentanyl and illegal drugs. Our children, our families, our American way of life is under attack. What do we do?
Oh man, you got to watch Mr. B tomorrow night, folks. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on FFN Network. And you can also go to ffnnetwork.live and check out our website, ladies and gentlemen. And even better here, I'll help you out. You just hit this little QR code right here for a little while and take you right to the website. Now, with that being said, this whole Wuhan, I'm telling you, man, real quick, for 3 years, we've talked about it on FFN Network. I don't care if it was radio, live video, whatever. We've talked about it on and off. And the material that I have printed up is like insane to go back and look at, you know, of printing up, you know, storylines, all that stuff like that. The Chris B and Heather P show completely covered New York. They knew everything that was going on in New York. There was nothing they didn't know about, what's his name, Como. You know, Homo Como. That's what we used to call him back in the day, right, D?
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So yeah, all of those audio shows, all of that, we're putting the archives together up on ffnnetwork.live and go and check it out, man. So what do we do about it now? So everything's coming to light, and you're saying, D, in a couple of years it's going to go away, and for somehow, some way, Fauci's going to be the hero of all of this.
Yes.
Explain.
I mean, shit. Look. I mean, he's been secluded for a while, but he made an appearance on one talk show or TV morning show, and man, the commentator, the way he was talking to him, and the questions they loaded to him, it just, you couldn't go wrong. You could walk into that interview and just sit there and come out as a hero, man, and not know nothing about your subject. And that's the problem again. All we're worried. No, let me back up. That's not the problem. What's this say, Mr. Parsons? Please join me on the show as a guest tomorrow. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, go ahead, D. Keep going, man.
I'm sorry. And you are Jeffrey, Mr. B. I just figured that out. I just figured that out, brother. I'm sorry.
Mr. Bell, where's the bell?
The bell. Give me the bell. Give me the bell. Out time. Where was I at, Mr. Blaze? Jim, help me.
We were talking about Fauci doing some softball questions on an interview.
Yes, man.
And
It's not. Yeah, no, and he's going to come out of here scot clean, man. You know, he's one of the highest paid government folks, right? Right.
Officials, yeah.
Yeah, right below the
Yeah.
president. He makes
Yeah.
more than the vice president.
it's unreal, isn't it?
Yes.
So what's the president make? I think the president makes like what, 240,000 a year?
No, that was in
Or
1999.
is it 400
400.
and something?
It's
Yeah.
400.
Right. So the vice president gets about half of that, right?
Yep. And you know what's crazy? We in the military, and I'm sorry, I'm just linking this together now. Soldiers have to pay for SGLI. That stands for Servicemen's Group Life Insurance. And son of a gun, I just had just something flash me just now. Is that when it was 250, that's how much the SGLI was for a soldier that was lost in combat or non-combat. And then it actually went up to 400. And I'm thinking the time frame when the president got the bump in pay. I don't know if there's a unique to this, or was there some thought of this? But yeah, man, those are the monetary amounts a soldier used to get and gets now.
No kidding.
Yep, and they pay into that. It's very minute. I think it's like $12-15 a month.
Yeah.
So
You know,
so
one
when
of the things.
that recruiter goes to your kid's house and say, "We'll give you life insurance for free," tell them that's bullshit. They gotta fucking pay for it.
Yeah, I guess.
Mr. B, go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say I don't know what's going to come of it. I mean, obviously they're investigating it, and I mean, to be honest, I think there's a lot of people who would like to tear this guy to shreds. So I don't know. Maybe he'll be held accountable, or at least to some degree. Again, being the highest paid guy, knowing that he had hands in funding this. I mean, they already had him early on. Rand Paul grilling him.
Yes,
and it
sir.
was denied. I think at one point, if I remember correctly, Fauci basically tried to change the definition of what gain of function originally was stated as to try to weasel his way out of it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting nonetheless. And I'm wondering, you guys think this was manufactured and leaked on purpose, or do you believe this was an accident that got out?
That's a
What do
good
you
question,
think?
man. That is a real good question, man. I don't know.
There are a lot of people who think it was done on purpose, to actually thin out the population.
Yeah.
And there's other people who think it
Population
was.
control.
Yep.
And Bill Gates is at the top of that list too.
Yeah. There's another guy who's got quite a bit of money.
Is this drinky time? Okay, this is
Yeah, I
drinky
thought that was sippy time. I was still.
So population control, man. Get rid of the elderly.
Well, and it also at the same time. I mean, you look at
this stuff rolls together so
one at a
much.
time.
It's like population control, kill the elderly, because that's what COVID did. And that way, now you don't have to worry about Social Security for a little while, and the talk of that. Oh, Social Security is gonna empty out pretty fucking soon. So you get rid of the elderly. That saves some money there. Is that the point?
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that made a lot of money off of that too.
A lot of money.
Syringes. Yeah, how many syringes do you think were made just to do vaccines? How many masks? The ventilator machines that my company actually I work.
Right. I was just gonna say your company benefited
all
too.
the grants
not in
from
a
the
bad
government.
way. Just
Yeah, of course, no.
But
unbelievable amounts of money that went along with that. So to me, it's no matter what, it was pretty messed up. If that was done intentionally, Jesus, we got a lot more problems than worrying about transgender people.
Hey, I got a bone to pick with Mr. B. He's over there replying to Mr. Parsons during our show, trying to make his show a little fatter. I got you, Mr. B. I got you. I'm watching you.
I'm trying to be
recruiting guest off the
networking, man.
Networking. Come on, Mr. B.
Well, you want to talk about Fauci? I think the man. I'm more reactionary than most people. I would be very happy if they took the fellow, put him on a pillory, and left him there to rot.
Damn.
Don't sugarcoat it. I want to hear how you really feel.
I told you, I don't sugarcoat shit in today's Christmas fudge. Fauci ought to be taken out and sugarcoat him. Put him on a pillory, spread honey all over him, and leave the bears for him.
Ooh, there you go.
Let that happen.
Yeah, but New Hampshire, y'all ain't got big bears. Y'all got them little brown bears. We got to take them somewhere.
My point exactly.
In Nevada or something.
Even worse. Slow. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
It's sick, dude. And again, I mean, look how much money Fauci made off of that. I mean, just he had his hands, I think, in some of the companies too that were developing vaccines against certain viruses of that nature too. So,
he controlled the whole thing. He got all the funding money and he distributed it out to all the other companies. He was in charge of all of that.
How much for his own pocket?
Well, yeah. I mean,
again, what's that word? Kickbacks.
Kickbacks.
Yeah. Mr. D, go.
Hey, so this question is not on Dr. Fauci. This is a fact-finding mission for me. I'm fortunate to have a guest here from New Hampshire, and I always wanted to know what happened to the Senate race with General Bulldog.
You really have to ask that question?
Yes, sir. Because I mean, I looked who he was going against, and I was looking at where, my old Army buddy, I know what his portfolio had, and I was like,
that man could have lost an election to a sock with a hole in it, the way people are running elections and counting votes these days. You know, and I know what happened.
You think so?
Yeah. It doesn't take much thinking to come up with it. Look what happened to President Trump.
No. Well, that's another show. That's
a whole nother hour.
No, don't go there, Mr. B. No, please. We ain't got the time.
No. All I have to say is that if you're looking for an honest legal election, keep looking.
I mean, we got another 10 minutes about. I mean, without getting involved with the entire election, how much fraud do you believe? Do you think there's enough fraud that we're turning elections over?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where would you think? Where could you pinpoint the fraud to where it was at? Where it's at?
All I have to say to that real quick is that when reporters show up to the election site, which is public, there's the media, they're no threat, and then all of a sudden you have to put up black particle board or black pieces of paper so the media can't see what you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, come on. There's no reason for you to do that at all if everything is on the up and up.
Dude, I'll tell you,
Jim. Look what you started, Jim.
I know. Well,
It's
whatever.
all your
Man.
fucking fault, man.
I'll take the blame for this one. I love it. I don't know, dude. Again, I mean, you have to have. The amount of people that got to be involved with a scam like that, dude.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
No, wait.
Yes. No, Jim. I'm with you on your
come
side.
on,
we
dude.
fucking go.
This is another moon landing. This is how big this conspiracy is, dude.
I'm gonna fucking straighten you out on that too, pal.
God, yeah, I'm waiting for that show, buddy. You have no idea.
I was gonna announce it at the end of this one, man. Start doing your research.
I got a
It's next week.
dictionary, dude. I have a dictionary ready for you. Anyway.
Yeah, I got a dictionary too.
Yeah.
It's just that who's gonna win the argument. It's got nothing.
It is Dr. Seuss. That's your dictionary, buddy.
I mean, come on, bro. They can't even get a fucking rocket off the ground now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how many rockets have failed already?
Yeah,
They just canceled the launch with actual astronauts in it today because they were afraid the fucking thing was gonna blow up.
Again, this is for
Come
another
on.
day, dude.
They didn't want to shoot the rocket up there and get China nervous, man.
Town,
Yeah.
man.
That's
I
what
just
it
can't
is.
be that.
Yeah.
He
You
knows.
can't. You
He
can't.
knows.
I mean, it even makes it even more happen when I have video of actual astronauts up in the space station saying this is the furthest we can go into space right
It's
now.
totally
You know
not
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Johnny,
All right.
I
Cool.
mean,
It's totally not true.
It
Come
isn't.
on.
Jim, can I?
I
Can
know. I
Go
got
ahead.
video of
Go
it.
ahead.
I got video of it, but it's not true. I got you. Go ahead,
Miss,
Mr. B.
well, let me go real quick. No, go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Mr.
D.
B. I got this.
No, go ahead, Mr. B.
Okay. I want to make a statement without saying a word. Do you mind?
Nope.
Go ahead. There you go. There you go.
Please go ahead, Mr. D. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
There you
wow,
go.
that blew my mind, man. I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know
okay.
what my boy's saying.
Oh, okay. But I'm an avid Fox News watcher. I watch, I listen. Fox News does not talk about Trump lately at all, man. At all.
No.
Rupert Murdoch, the founder of Fox News, has basically went out on a limb and he scolded his folks at Fox News about the election lies. And Dominion, the voting system, is taking, I'm not sure if it's Fox or somebody else, to court
Yeah,
to
I
sue
heard
him on
about
slander.
that.
You know?
I
No,
heard about that.
no, man. No, Donald Trump lost, man. He lost. He fucking lost. And why did he lose? Not because he was a bad president. He did not know how to talk to people.
Yeah. I was going to tie this
I
in
know,
too a little earlier.
and Biden did from his fucking basement, right? You're gonna sit there and tell me that the media did not win Joe Biden the fucking presidency of the
No,
United States?
absolutely,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Absolutely,
But
right
I'm
there
also
is
going to.
fucking fraud.
Yeah,
Right
but
there
Trump
is
also
fraud.
lost it for
Wait a minute.
himself.
Wait a minute. What
You
kind
know
of
what I
a
mean?
literature says Donald Trump doesn't know how to talk to people?
He don't, man.
He does.
He
Every
don't,
place
man.
that he went, he filled up every single hall. He had standing room only in parking lots that would make the Patriots puke, for God's sake. And you're saying he doesn't know how to talk to people?
He don't. He don't. He don't. He don't.
No, you don't.
His. Look at the group he recruited. The, he probably recruited about 50 million on his tours and all this other bullshit. Joe Biden won 81 million to Donald's what, 74, 77 million? No, see, Mr. B, and we need to hash this out, and this is not a good time because we're coming to a close.
This is the best time because we'll take it up next time.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave it hanging. But no,
Listen,
no.
there's no such thing as voter fraud. Of course, there's no voter fraud.
Totally not saying that there's no such thing as voter fraud. Everybody knows there's a percentage of voter fraud. What I'm saying is, there's no possible way that you could have it on this wide scale at this level, and it doesn't make sense. I can't see how you could coordinate all of that and have as many people as you do with their mouth shut. This isn't like some dude in his basement wiring up, networking shit. There's a lot of people that would have to be involved in this.
That argument was a lot of that argument was voter ID. Do you think you should fucking show an ID you vote? There's a lot of people out there. You don't have to show them shit. You know what I mean? You don't have to show them shit. What do you think they're open for? Jesus Christ. Democrats are just looking at it as more votes, more votes. This is another show in
You're breaking up,
show
buddy.
in itself.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit as you're coming through, buddy. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was all busted up. Yeah, I don't know. Again, yeah, it is another show. But I don't know. I can't imagine there were either enough mail-in votes or even how they were counted. You can't tell me they were triple counted or whatever it is. Again, there's no proof of it. They've looked and they've dug through it. So I don't know. We'll see.
But Jim,
that's another thing.
And we got to invite Mr. B as a special guest for that show as well.
Definitely.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
At 6 minutes to go. I don't know. Again, It was a great show for me. The world is a mess. The country is a mess. Um, Supreme Court now to give this generation free college. You know, these things like that. You know what I mean?
You're
It's
really breaking up bad, man. So, I don't
well,
know if
I'm
you got to
ready.
what's that?
I'm in. Go ahead, someone
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. No, I was just, I was going to follow up what you're saying. I mean, the immigration, the debt we're in. I mean, unbelievable amounts of debt, 31, probably almost 32 trillion by now. I haven't looked at the debt clock in a while. Again, this war, having, everything that's going on, it really is. It's kind of a crazy time right now where it's, the whole world's on like this little preface where with just a wrong couple of moves could really, really change the way everybody lives life, man. It's kind of crazy and it's scary, That said, I want to just say thank you for joining us tonight, Mr. B. I really enjoy conversations with you. It's a lot of fun, so I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It's very kind.
Yes, sir. And I would like to extend my gratitude for you showing up today, too, Mr. B. You're a hell of a man, great American. I know you love America. You got it written all over your face. Um, Nick Parsons' little comments really made me think on what I want to say next. Is if you're struggling with yourself about a sex change or just ending your life, please reach out to somebody. And the national new number is 988, not to be confused with 911. 988 if you're thinking of hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. This is a great country. It always will be a great country because of folks like you guys. And thank you, Blaze. Thank you, Jim. I got you already, Mr. B.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much for allowing me to come in here and dance among you folks. It's been a genuine pleasure and very informative. And I do look forward to coming back and working with you again. And I do have to mention it to you. On the side of the hat here is the pin from our childhood, President Nixon, now more than ever.
Not a crook. I'm not a crook.
So thank you very much. And Blazeman, thank you again for inviting me in.
Of course, buddy.
Thanks, Mr. B.
I don't know why my connection's in the red. So we're going to call it a night. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to tonight's show. Don't forget to check us out next Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with The Way We See It. Don't forget to catch Mr. B tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, right here on FFN Radio Network. And you can catch us on FFN Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. We're live. But most of all, if you miss us, go to our website, ffnnetwork.live. Ladies and gentlemen, that's ffnnetwork.live. You'll be able to catch every show on that website live. Okay? You can get on Facebook for some reason, but go to our website. We are live every night, every time we have a show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into The Way We See It. Peace and love to each and every one of you out there. And again, don't forget to check out the Mr. B